Welcome back, Elden Ring fans, to another video. Shadows of the Erdtree had a gameplay trailer that was shown off a couple weeks ago, and we got to see this character. Now, I have a theory on this character, at least what part he has to play with the DLC and the base game. Now, in order to figure out some things, we actually have to go over some other characters, and one of those being Shabriri. Now, Shabriri is a very interesting character. He actually plays a lot to do with the Madness ending. Now, he's an entity that can manipulate or take over the bodies of either dead or currently alive characters. We don't really know the extent of his power, but listen up.
Finally, we meet the Tarnished, who would be Lord. Oh my. Why the long face? I fear that you were previously acquainted with this vessel. Well, that is most unfortunate. For he is dead. As for his flesh, he gave it to me. Shabriri, I hope you can make your peace with that.
After learning about the demise of our friend, we actually have to deal with Shabriri later on. Now, whenever we actually walk up to him and we kill him, he does say a completely different dialogue and some interesting things. Go ahead and take a listen to this.
This I did not expect. Shabriri is chaos incarnate. I cannot die. May chaos.
Now that is kind of interesting. So Shabriri can die, but his soul will continue to live on without the body, which kind of ties into my theory of souls being able to be removed from vessels, and it's kind of difficult to really link that to anything besides the Erdtree theory, which I have in another video. But this character right here, Gowry, is a very interesting character. We don't get too much plot with him, or at least understanding of who he is, until after we do his quest a little bit. You can see that he actually gives us the secrets of Sellia. He's allowed to show us the secrets only after we do a little bit of his bidding. But some of the rewards are very interesting. One of which is Night Maiden's Mist, which its description reads as the follows. One of the night sorceries of Sellia, town of sorcery. Below Sellia, the eternal city of Nokron sleeps. This sorcery originates from the maidens of that place. Now, we don't really know too much about Gowry and how he got his hands on some night sorceries. Of course, he's in Sellia, but he only knows the secrets. We normally don't learn sorceries from people. We normally learn them from books or scrolls. Now, watch what happens when we kill Gowry.
There are countless pests to choose from.
So, after killing Gowry, he claims that he will come back, for there are many pests available to him, which I think is hinting at him being a possible entity like Shabriri. He's able to manipulate or take over other people's things, but that's not what's important. What's important is the description of the night sorceries that do attack damage, such as Ambush Shard, which reads, the Sellian sorcerers were assassins, and it is said that they often hunted their fellows. So, we see that in a lot of these, but what did we see that also in? The trailer for the Shadows of the Erdtree DLC, the blood of your fellows was mentioned whenever looking at that character. We also had that blood must be spilt, which means they kind of go hand in hand. I believe that that character has something to do with night sorceries. He has some sort of play when it comes down to the bigger sorceries and the ones that we don't really get to see in the game. There's this tower also, by the way, called Mirage Tower, and at the top of this tower we can grab the Unseen Form and the Unseen Weapon, which are also Sellian sorceries. The Sellian assassins considered every option that aided their dirty work, is what the description for Unseen Form says. And for the weapon, it actually states, used by Sellian assassins to present themselves as unarmed sorcerers. Now, what's interesting about this whole Mirage Tower is that we find these insignias, and these insignias that we have to go and touch, all of them are actually Academy insignias, which, like I said before, we had another possible link to the Academy with another certain sorcery we brought up earlier, which is one of the glintstone sorceries of the Academy of Rea Lucaria, a sorcery of the Elivinus Conceptus, which attracts sorcerers from Celia, town of sorcery. So we know that they had something in common with each other. There was some sort of connection to the two. And of course, this symbol shows that we had to go and crack this kind of code to learn these night sorceries, these assassination tools when it comes to the intelligence. We even see these new statues that they've made for these towers that they're hiding these certain types of spells inside of, that were also in Renala's boss room, or outside of her boss room, right before you actually go through the door. We see that these unseen forms, these invisibility spells, these assassination spells are being hidden. Now, there's only two reasons I can think of. One, Renala did not want somebody to be having possession of these spells. We see her, go with Selin and stop her from being able to use the Graven Mass sorcery, whatever the hell that is. She's trying to reach the primeval current. And of course, Renala doesn't want that. We also see the assassination attempt side of, hey, I don't want me to be killed or my children to be killed. And of course, that's understandable. So what is going on with this tower? How does this tower and the connection between those two groups collide? We see that this guy is obviously going to be surrounded by sorcery because he looks like he's in one of the underground areas. So this guy has something to do with it. Even when you're casting night sorcery spells, this insignia pops up, right? And the insignias are normally listed for types of sorceries or schoolings or royalty. So that is also the oracle spell. The lighter one was an oracle spell, which had the exact same type. Now we know Celia is not exactly peaceful because they're even creating weapons. We have Moonveil, a katana forged of glintstone, masterpiece of a Celian swordsmith, showing that they have reason to kill even without that. So why would they create these weapons? How would they create these weapons? Well, we do have reasons for it. Meteoric blade, katana forged of the meteoric ore to dispatch life forms born of falling stars. Of course, they want to protect their people. They're also part of the Eternal City. So what else links them to other people and other groups? The Nox Flowing Sword, a grip weapon wielded by swordsmen of the Eternal City. This shotel has a blade as fine as a needle, which is very interesting because, of course, we know that the Noxtelian people, they have to have been linked with the Eternal City and everything else. They're always in the same sort of group. But what about Radon? Radon, of course, learns gravity magic, and apparently he went to Celia to learn this gravity magic. He learned it from an Alabaster Lord. He has protected Celia for some reason, even though it's full of assassins and full of people who are making these abominable weapons, and his mother does not even want these things to be known. At least that could be the case. Or the Academy is trying to hide their footsteps in a possible assassination attempt. So we don't really know what's all going on. I think that there's a way bigger picture that we're going to learn about in the DLC, especially with like the Oracle Bubbles, which offer Arcane. We have Celia, who, by the way, doesn't use any incantations or sorceries that require Arcane, but her helmet gives you Arcane, which means she might be related to this new guy who could possibly sell us some new oracle spells and or night sorceries. And whatever reason they're possibly having for killing off Renala and going on their own way, this shows that there is more to this character, and I think we're going to see that with the DLC. I believe that he's going to play a tremendous part when it comes down to night sorceries because of those insignias that we've seen. We don't have anybody to back up those insignias. We don't have another royal family or some sort of monarch that is going to be covering for Celia. We don't even see Celians there. We don't learn spells from anybody except for people or directly finding those spells. They're all hidden. They're all put behind barriers in that Celian city. It could have been Marika. It could have been Renala. It could even be Radon for some reason. But we don't really have all those answers. But I wanted to show and tell everybody about that because it's very interesting, especially since we have connections between Shabriri and Gowry, who told us those sorceries, who gave them to us. I think the fact that this guy is going to have a lot to do with murder and a lot to do with deceit, that Shadows of the Erdtree is going to be an amazing DLC, and I can't wait to see you guys in the DLC too. You guys leave me some comments down below for another video or for this one, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.